Hello, I'm Lee Croft, Professor Emeritus of Russian at ASU. Gregory Melikian is the one personal friend of mine who left for others in this life the most lasting and positive legacy. He was the most successful at achieving immortality, a virtual paragon of positive posterity. Every situation that he experienced in his long life, he worked hard and ably to improve, involving by his example his entire family and his wide circle of friends and acquaintances. Greg started his life of achievement early. In New York's Long Island City High School, where he was a student from 1939 to 1943, he was elected president of the History Honors Society and very presciently submitted an essay entitled "The Place of Education in a Changing World" to New York City's Guarantee Trust Company, which awarded him a paid summer internship where he learned the essential value to our American society of real estate loans and investments. Later, in his business career, he certainly put this learning to good use. Consider that in 1973, he purchased Phoenix's Hotel San Carlos for a negotiated sum of money, which he had earned through his real estate investments in New York and Arizona. And then, having involved his entire family in the constant hard work of preserving and improving the hotel, he sold it in 2021 for many times the price he paid for it 48 years before. He frequently informed me that real estate was an investment much superior to anything Wall Street stocks and bonds could offer, and that I did not have enough real estate in my own investment portfolio. During Greg's first days in U.S. Army basic training at Virginia's Fort Pickett in September of 1943, he used a wrestling hold, the hammerlock, that his one-time wrestler father, Jack, had taught him to knock unconscious a barracks bully who was cruelly harassing, with his cronies, an Orthodox Jewish soldier named Simeon Goldstein. Later, trainee Goldstein came over to Greg's bunk to thank him for standing up for him against these bullies. And Greg asked him, "Why are you here? It seems you could have claimed religious exemption from the military. Conscientious objection, I think they call it." And Simeon Goldstein answered, "My people are being victimized by our country's enemies in this war, more than anyone else I know of. So I don't object to fighting them at all. I may not be the best fighter we have, but I think I can offer at least emotional support to others who are. I want to be an Army rabbi." During his World War II active service as General Dwight D. Eisenhower's lead cryptotelegrapher, 20-year-old Sergeant Greg was a witness to how General Eisenhower was not the same after he and other high-ranking U.S. officers visited the Nazis' Ohrdruf concentration camp after its liberation in April of 1945. Greg had by that time come to appreciate Simeon Goldstein's reasons for committing himself to Army service and to becoming a rabbi. After the war, in 1949, having graduated from Brooklyn Law School and having been admitted to the New York State Bar Association as an attorney, Greg sought to rent his first commercial law office in a prominent downtown New York City building. And guess what? The building's owner just happened to be the uncle of the by then Brooklyn rabbi and fellow World War II veteran Simeon Goldstein, This uncle of his beloved Simeon, a Mr. William Silverman, told Greg to his great surprise, "I know who you are, Attorney Melikian, and in this building you can write your own lease." Greg's perhaps risky emotional investment of himself into Rabbi Goldstein's personal defense during their Army basic training had paid him dividends indeed. In 2007, Professor Stephen Batalden and I were the only ASU faculty members left from the group of 4 who were the charter members of what was then called the Russian and East European Studies Consortium. This consortium, under Steve Batalden's direction, had taken charge of the Critical Languages Institute that I first directed after its formation in 1991. In 2007, after this institute's inclusion of Armenian language instruction, Greg and Emma Melikian informed the Russian and East European Studies Consortium Director Batalden that they wanted to donate $1 million to ASU in order to further enable this organization's diverse educational activities. We then considered that, pursuant to this substantial donation, the Russian and East European Studies Consortium's name should be changed to the Melikian Center for Russian, Eurasian, and East European Studies. Steve understood that the Melikian families, bringing both its financial and its human resources into the support of our cause, would guarantee a positive legacy not only for the Melikian family, but for us, the ASU Russian and East European Studies Consortium's participants. In the 17 years since, the Melikians' constancy of support has certainly assured me a more profound educational legacy than I could have dreamed of when I first became an ASU faculty member in 1973. The Melikian Center's now 33-year-old Critical Languages Institute is naming its successful Russian language program after me. Certainly, we in the ASU community owe Greg Melikian and his family a huge debt of gratitude for so preserving and advancing the dimension of our own positive educational legacies. Let me now read 2 of the last pages of my 2023 biography, Peace and Preservation, The Life of Gregory Melikian. These pages start with my asking Greg Melikian, "What do you consider to have been the best day of your life? Was it that fateful day, May 7th, 1945, when you were chosen to send the telegraph message announcing to the world the German general's unconditional surrender, ending World War II in Europe?" And Greg answered, "That was indeed a great day for me, Lee. But I've had many great days. I now consider that my greatest days were when I was married and my wife Emma had given successful birth to my 4th child, daughter Ramona. I then realized I had fulfilled all my dreams at that point in my life. Family is the most important aspect of it. All else is secondary to family in a successful man's life. I tell the young, whenever I can, that family is first. Then education. Try always to learn everything. You never know what you might have to know in this ever-changing world. And pick a profession or a course of work that helps others, so that your success in it will leave a better place for others after you. That is my advice. And I have another piece of advice. Don't gamble. Don't gamble with your money. When I was with all those army buddies in France and Germany, I never gambled. I would serve as the banker during their poker games, but would never gamble myself. When I got home after 3 years, I had an appreciable sum of money to start my post-war life with. Don't gamble with your health. Don't use drugs and stay light on the alcohol. Never drink and drive or drink and do business. And don't gamble with your relationships. Be absolutely certain that that other person in your life, he or she, is the one. It has paid off for me, and it'll pay off for you. Gregory Melikian was, in sum, a truly great man. We should all try to follow his example for us in life. Thank you.